obedience unto life, which is the narrow path, or there's lawlessness unto death, and those curses remain upon you until you're destroyed. Today we start in Deuteronomy 11, starting at verse 26. See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing when you obey the commands of Yahweh your Elohim, which I command you today, and a curse if you do not obey the commands of Yahweh your Elohim, but turn aside from the way which I command you today to go after other mighty ones, other gods, which you have not known. With that said, let's get into it. Matthew 22, starting at verse 32. I am the Elohim of Abraham, and of the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob. Elohim is not the Elohim of the dead, but of the living. And when the crowds heard, they were astonished at his teaching. But the Pharisees, having heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, were gathered together, and one of them, one learned in the Torah, did question, trying him, and saying, Teacher, which is the great command in the Torah? And Yeshua said to him, You shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all of your heart and with all your being and with all of your mind. This is the first and great command, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commands hang all the Torah and the prophets. Now let's read verse 32 again. I am Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob. Elohim is not the Elohim of the dead, but of the living. Have you not been dead in your trespasses and dying in your sin? Have you not read 1 John 3:4? Flip to 1 John 3:4. Everyone doing sin also does lawlessness, and sin is lawlessness. Wait, so wasn't there a covenant that had requirements in order to inherit the land, which was promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Let's flip back to Matthew 22, starting at verse 37. And Yeshua said to him, You shall love Yahweh, your Elohim, with all of your heart and with all your being and with all your mind. Well, that's strange. How did that command get in there? Because that's part of the law found in Deuteronomy 6:5. Let's flip there. And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might? Flip back to Matthew 22, verse 39. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Well, that's strange. There's another one, and it's found in the law as well. Leviticus 19:18. Let's flip over there and read it. Do not take vengeance or bear a grudge against the children of your people, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Yahweh. Let's go check out Matthew 22:40. On these two commands hang all the Torah and the prophets? So the first four are all about you loving Yahweh, our Elohim, and the last six is all about showing love to your neighbor? That just got interesting. So the 10 commandments are a summary of the law? So that means we must break down the 10 in order to understand the 10? Now, that's interesting. So what gives life? Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 15. Let's go flip over there and read it. And it shall be, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahweh. Who was that voice? Our Messiah. I'll be showing you that later on. Your Elohim, to guard, to do all his commands, which I command you today, that Yahweh your Elohim shall set you high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you if you obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim. Blessed are you in the city, and blessed are you in the field. Blessed is the fruit of your body, and the fruit of your ground, and the fruit of your livestock, the increase of your cattle, the offspring of your flocks. Blessed is your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed are you when you come in, and blessed are you when you go out. Yahweh causes your enemies who rise up against you to be smitten before your face. They come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. Yahweh commands the blessing on you in your storehouses and in all to which you set your hand, and shall bless you in the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you. Yahweh does establish you as a set-apart people to himself, as he has sworn to you, if you guard the commands of Yahweh your Elohim and walk in his ways. And all peoples of the earth shall see that the name of Yahweh is called upon you, and they shall be afraid of you. And Yahweh shall make you to have plenty of what is good in the fruit of your body, and in the fruit of your livestock, and in the fruit of your ground, in the land of which Yahweh swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you. Yahweh opens to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hand. And you shall lend to many nations, but you do not borrow. And Yahweh shall make you the head and not the tail, and you shall be only on top and not be beneath, if you obey the commands of Yahweh your Elohim, which I command you today to guard and do. Do not turn aside from any of the words which I am commanding you today, right or left, to go after other mighty ones, other gods, to serve them. It shall be, if you do not obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim to guard to do all his commands and his laws, which I command you today, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. Do you remember how I started out this teaching? I said, obedience unto life, which is the narrow path, or there's lawlessness unto death, and those curses remain upon you until you're destroyed. Yahweh's not playing around, folks. So, are you not suffering the curses of the law of sin and death? Flip on over to Deuteronomy 28. Sorry, we're already in Deuteronomy 28. But let's go through verses 16 through 67. We're going to go through those now. those are just as important. Those are what you're actually going through now if you're not in covenant with Yahweh. Okay? Covenant has requirements. It requires obedience upon your part. Okay? Now let's start reading them. Cursed are you in the city. Cursed are you in the field. Cursed is your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed is the fruit of your body and the fruit of your land, the increase of your cattle and the offspring of your flocks. Cursed are you when you come in, and cursed are you when you go out. Yahweh sends on you, the curse, the confusion, and the rebuke in all that you set your hand to do until you are destroyed and until you perish quickly because of the evil of your doings by which you have forsaken me. You have forsaken the Father Yahweh, okay? Yahweh makes the plague cling to you until he has consumed you from the land which you are going to possess. Yahweh strikes you with wasting disease and with inflammation. Some of you are going through a lot of these things right now, and you can't explain why. It's because you're disobedient to the Father's ways. Okay? So with inflammation and with burning and with extreme heat and with the sword and with blight and with mildew, and they shall pursue you until you perish, and your heavens which are over your head shall be bronze, and the earth which is under you iron. Yahweh makes the rain of your land powder and dust. From the heavens it comes down on you until you are destroyed. Yahweh causes you to be defeated before your enemies. You go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. And you shall become a horror to all the reigns of the earth. And your carcasses shall be food for all the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the earth, and with no one to frighten them away. There's your great supper of the Lamb. Just saying. Yahweh shall strike you with boils of the Mitzrayim, with tumors, and with the scab, and with the itch, from which you are unable to be healed. Yahweh shall strike you with madness and blindness and bewilderment of heart. And you shall be groping at noon as a blind man gropes in darkness, and not prosper in your ways. And you shall be only oppressed and plundered all the days, with no one to save you. You became engaged to a wife, but another man does lie with her. You build a house, but do not dwell in it. You plant a vineyard, but do not use its fruit. Your ox is slaughtered before your eyes, but you do not eat of it. Your donkey is violently taken from you before you, and it is not given back to you. Your sheep are given to your enemies, with no one to save them. Your sons and your daughters are given to another people, and your eyes look and fail for them all day long, and your hand powerless. A people whom you have not known eat the fruit of your land, and all your labors, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed all the days, and you shall be maddened because of the sight which your eyes see. Yahweh strikes you in the knees and on the legs with evil boils of which you are unable to be healed. From the sole of your foot to the top of your head, Yahweh brings you and the sovereign whom you set over you to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known. And there you shall serve other mighty ones, wood and stone. We're doing that right now. You must come out of that. You must turn back to the Father right now. Thus you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a mockery among all the peoples to which Yahweh drives you. You take much seed out into the field, but gather little in, for the locust consumes it. The locust army, which is within your gates right now as we speak. Everywhere where you're located, where Israel is located, that locust army is already in your gates. Wake up now. You plant vineyards and you shall labor, but you neither drink of the wine nor gather, for the worm eats it. You have olive trees in all your border, but do not anoint with your but do not anoint with oil, for your olives drop off. You bring forth sons and daughters, but they are not with you, for they go into captivity. Locusts possess all your trees, and the fruit of your ground. The sojourner who is among you rises higher and higher above you, but you come down lower and lower. He lends to you, but you do not lend to him. He is the head, and you are the tail. And all these curses shall come upon you, and they shall pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim to guard his commands and his laws, which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and on your seed forever. Okay? Forever. Because you did not serve Yahweh, your Elohim, with joy and gladness of heart for all the plenty. You shall serve your enemies, whom Yahweh sends against you in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in the need of all. And he shall put a yoke of iron on your neck until he has destroyed you. Okay? Yahweh shall bring a nation against you from far away, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose language you shall not understand. That would be your Muslim nation, by the way, just one of many that are coming, that are already here in your gates. One of many. Okay? A fierce-looking nation which shall show no regard for the elderly, nor show favor to the young. And they shall eat the fruit of your livestock and the fruit of your land until you are destroyed. They leave you no grain, nor new wine, nor oil, nor the increase of your cattle, or the offspring of your flocks, until they have destroyed you. Okay? And they shall besiege you at all your gates, till your high and fenced walls, in which you are trusting, okay, come down in all your land, and they shall besiege you at all your gates, in all your land which Yahweh your Elohim has given you. Are you listening, South Africa? I sure hope you are. You're going through many of these things right now as we speak. Not just South Africa. This is happening worldwide, wherever Israel is scattered. Okay? And you shall eat the fruit of your own body, the flesh of your sons and your daughters, whom Yahweh your Elohim has given you in the siege and the distress in which your enemies distress you. That's just one of the plagues that will befall you. Okay? It's very dangerous to go against the Father, y'all. Please come back to the Father. Come back to His ways, okay? He's been telling us all throughout this book on the things that He requires, but no one's listening. No one's truly turning back, loving the Father with all their heart, their soul, and their mind. Every ounce of what you have, come back to the Father. The man among you who is tender and who is very delicate, his eye is evil against his brother, against the wife of his bosom, and against the rest of his children whom he leaves behind, against giving any of them the flesh of his children that he eats, because it is all that has been left to him in the siege and distress with which your enemy distresses you in all of your gates. The tender and the delicate woman among you who has not tried to set the sole of her foot on the ground because of her delicacy or delicateness and tenderness, her eye is evil against the husband of her bosom, and against her son, and against her daughter, and against her seed, okay, which comes out from between her feet, her own children, okay? The Father's not playing around here, folks. Come back to Him. And her children, whom she bears, for she eats them in secret, for lack of all, in the siege and distress with which your enemy distresses you in all your gates. If you do not guard to do all the words of this Torah that are written in this book, to fear this esteemed and awesome name of Yahweh your Elohim, then Yahweh shall bring upon you and your descendants extraordinary plagues, great and lasting plagues, and grievous and lasting sickness. And He shall bring back on you all the diseases of Egypt, Mitzrayim, of which you were afraid, and they shall cling to you. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in this book of this Torah, Yahweh does bring upon you until you are destroyed. And you shall be left with few men, although you had become as numerous as the stars of heaven. Are you listening, Israel? Because you did not obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim. And it shall be that as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and increase you, so Yahweh does rejoice over you to destroy you and lay you waste. And you shall be plucked from off the land which you go to possess. And Yahweh shall scatter you among all peoples from one end of the earth to the other. Some of these things have already been happening, folks. We're already scattered, okay? All of these things are still upon the disobedient, okay? And Yahweh shall scatter you among all the peoples from one end of the earth to the other, and there you shall serve other mighty ones, other gods, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. And among those nations you are to find no rest, nor having a resting place for the sole of your foot. But there Yahweh shall give you a trembling heart and failing eyes and sorrow of being, and your life shall be hanging in suspense before you, and you shall fear night and day, and not be certain of life. In the morning you say, "Oh, that it were evening," and at evening you say, "Oh, that it were morning," because of the fear of your heart with which you fear, and because of the sight which your eyes see. You're seeing these sights come upon you day by day, and it's about to get worse. Everyone wants to quote John 3:16. Let's read it. For Elohim so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that everyone who believes in him should not perish, but possesses everlasting life. But you have failed to recognize that John 3:36, let's read it. He who believes in the Son possesses everlasting life, but he who does not obey the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of Elohim remains on him. You see, it is required of you to obey. Obedience has always been a requirement for the covenant, okay? Let's flip on over to Romans 6, starting at verse 12. Therefore, do not let sin reign in your mortal body to obey in its desires, right? Neither present your members as instruments of unrighteousness to sin, but present yourselves to Elohim as being alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness to Elohim. For sin shall not rule over you, for you are not under the law, but under favor. You are not to be under the law of sin and death, but you are to be walking in the law of life and liberty, right? That law of sin and death was the curses that come upon those of the disobedient, but the blessings come upon those who walk in the law of life and liberty. Okay, that is really important. When you're reading through Paul's letters, you must understand which law he is speaking of. He speaks of 7 different laws. If you are untaught and unlearned in this book, you will not comprehend what he's saying, and you will be brought to destruction by reading his letters incorrectly. So we err in lawlessness because we misunderstand Paul's letters. Stay away from Paul until you're learned, until you're taught. Okay? Start in the beginning of the book. Forget everything you ever learned, okay? It's all garbage guaranteed. If you learned it from a ball priest, it's garbage. Start in the beginning of the book. Present yourself with a new heart. Make a new heart for yourself and start over from the beginning of this book, okay? So,